For many, it's the dream space game. Your very own Explorer-class starship, an entire one-to-one scale galaxy to explore, ship interiors full of crew complements, and much more. Starship Simulator then has a lot going for it, and the latest update from the developer shows just how far the game has come. That said, it's been an absolute age since the last update, a point which the developers are keenly aware of. Now the team admits that they kind of misjudged the scope of what they're calling a Tech Demo 3. Cramming too many ideas into a single build stretched an already small crew thin and swallowed 18 months. Hard lessons then are learned, future updates will arrive tidier and more frequently, they say. Yet all of that time wasn't wasted. Far from it, in fact, and evidence of that lays in the sheer abundance of features and details that we're now going to discuss. So load up the game, and the first thing that'll greet you is motion. You'll find a main menu that's now painted with a procedurally generated planet, and this planet is different every time it loads. It's a living screensaver, if you will, and then you press the H key to hide the UI, and you can see the grandeur of all the planets that are now available within this Milky Way galaxy. Even the loading screen is fully alive. Load up a game, and what you'll notice is stacking ship decks one by one, kind of like a time-lapse of real-world ship building. Now, when the camera settles, your Magellan-class Explorer it looks remarkably different to what we may have seen a long time ago in earlier builds. It now very much matches what we see in the concept images. Your ship's hull is pretty long, crowned by a broad Alcubierre ring, and flanked by 4 engine pods large enough to walk inside of for hands-on repairs. Function then is something that's very important in the Starship Simulator, and it informs every part of the game. Reaction-controlled thrusters, for example, cluster around the center of the mass, and the engines can reverse fire for hard braking. The same is true for the ship's internal skeleton, which now follows set engineering standards. You've got things here such as insulated wall cavities, regular bracket spacing, and crucially, discrete pressure-tight segments. Those segments will matter when the simulation begins to track air loss, fire, or even disease on board the ship. So let's talk about those interior spaces. This has all been rebuilt around the new frame, so you'll notice some differences here as well as greater detail as well. So there can be things such as tessellated carpets to bolts modelled one by one. And of course, when it really comes down to it, you can imagine all the engineers, whether you're an engineer or they're NPCs, trying to navigate around the ship, trying to find locations that they've got to repair. And this is where the ship's coordinate code can actually come in. Each panel is coded accordingly by deck, quadrant, ring, segment, and side. And such a coordinate system is going to be very important later on when it comes to conducting engineering, for example, and doing repairs. You're going to be able to need to know exactly where you're going to head towards. Now looking around B deck, we've got the VIP corridor that finally hints at the luxury you'd expect for this type of area. It's got 6 suites, each supporting finished entrances. The VIP lounge has blossomed, and look here, you've got a MIDI-capable grand piano or baby grand piano, and this is actually not just here for show. If you've got a MIDI-capable keyboard, you can connect that to your computer, and then you'll be able to interact directly with this in-game piano. You'll basically be able to play it as you would a real-world piano. Alternatively, you can just click on the keys here with your mouse. Elsewhere, we've got the fully interactable chessboard, so you'll be able to play chess, and later, eventually, you're also going to play pool as well. The table's already here, and you can interact with the balls, but you can't just have a full game of pool yet, but looks like that's on the way. All of this is really impressive stuff. Now, over in the galley, we've got the first draft of what is an organic 3D printer. This extrudes food ingredients, allowing you to create your dinners, your meals, and all of that lovely stuff. Now elsewhere, dotted around the ship, you can find a roaming robot. This is a cleaning bot which patrols the corridors in search of dirty carpets. And this is kind of a bit of a glimpse of what we can expect to see much later on, when there'd be a full-on NPCs roaming around, such as an NPC engineer, for example, that'll be able to repair blown fuses or patch ruptured pipes. It's not all about the ship, of course. We've got a full-on galaxy outside the ship, and this has continued to evolve over time as well. So much of the effort on the development cycle has been poured into this. For example, from the Gaia catalogue, the simulator imports more than 18 million authentic star systems. These fill a sphere over 2,000 light-years around Sol. With a current top cruise speed of 300 light-years an hour, it'll take 7 straight hours to skim around the edge of that real star's bubble. In terms of planetary systems, these are all formed according to real-world science and real-world physics. Elsewhere, civilization is beginning to bloom in the game. Every sector now holds a political state that can be empty, fractured or controlled by one or more empires. For the moment, these cultures exist only as a sensory redoubt. They're not physically in the game, but communications and physical presence are certainly on the roadmap, the developers tell us. Hopefully, that's something we see in the not too distant future. So, talking of communications and all of that stuff, we have sensors. This, of course, is the cartographer's toolkit. There's a whole load of data in the game, and this demands 4 new sensor suites, 4 new ways to interact with the galaxy in the game from within your ship. So we have 4 categories here: galactic positioning, long-range scans, medium range, and short range. Let's go through each of these very briefly in turn. So galactic positioning shows your place in the Milky Way, and this lets you roam sectors in search of curiosities, some specific stars you may want to see, as specific planets, or whatever else. Next up, we have long range. This focuses on a single sector, filtering out individual stars by class, logging exploration progress, and hinting at tech signatures. Medium range resolves everything in your current system, exposing habitable zone planets, gas giant classes, and eventually moon orbits. Then we come to short range. This unlocks granular surface data, things such as atmosphere composition, settlement maps, and race profiles. For example, a newly discovered Earth-like could be shrouded in an ice age that illustrates the detail that this game is really going for. Now, each sweep of these sensors raises a knowledge level from 1 to 3. A system here is written as 100% explored only when every world, moon and all, has been scanned with your short-range sensors. It's a game loop that's simple but really potent. Find a distant glimmer, jump in, fan out, and drill it down to fully explore. You never really know what you may find. On the ship itself, we have some of the NPCs, bridge NPCs specifically, and a promise later of command. So what this means in practice is that even a single player, a solo player, a captain, will not remain alone on board their ship. Early bridge NPCs can already be summoned to their chairs, each offering context-sensitive menus. Tap Saturn on the holographic table, flag it as the nav target, and the helmsman pilots the course whilst you stay seated. In future, every station will obey a shared command target. All of that is a planet, a malfunctioning conduit, or an enemy hull. Finally, we have a brief look to the future, and attention there is focused at the moment at least on a dedicated VR test build. That's something I know a lot of people want. Then beyond that, we're going to get towards deepen NPC autonomy and then refine the bridge environment as well. Developers have pledged that public builds will arrive vastly more often than once every 18 months, which we've seen currently. But given the breadth of really what's in the game here, everything that's being put in, all these details, all those starships, decks, and all the detail that's going in both inside the walls and everywhere else, from lift logic to galactic politics, the prospect of seeing that progress in smaller, more regular slices feels not just welcome, but perhaps necessary as well. As the game starts to flesh out then, I'm getting really excited to see what it will eventually be like flying around this Magellan-class starship that is full of a crew as well, and maybe eventually interacting with other players as well. Looking forward to it. Very exciting stuff. Do check out the link in the video description where you can find out more about this game and everything else you need to know. Meanwhile, there's another video on the screen if you want to check out that. Thanks for watching this video all the way through. Do take care, and I'll catch you next time.